I'm with Dr. Appliance Service out of, we're right on the border between Tennessee and Alabama. We've actually been using ServiceWorks. We started in, believe it or not, March of 2020. And Dr. Appliance Service actually started in 2018. And at that point, it was back to my husband, a cell phone, and a pickup truck. And he had started with House Call Pro because it was simple, it was easy, it was on the go. And we grew very quickly. By May of 2019, we had a CSR that was on board, and we had 2 technicians by the end of 2019. And we went to ASTI in January 2020, and we drank we heard bells and whistles, we drank the Kool-Aid, and we bought into Rossware. And we brought it home, and we're going to implement this, and it's going to be the greatest thing, it's going to be the greatest thing, and we're all on board. And we implemented it, and just prior to COVID hitting, we had our own crisis in-house, and I had pretty much a full-on mutiny in-house. The techs couldn't get into the software, I couldn't track where everything was going, I couldn't set down policies and procedures. This is how you input a customer. I couldn't even do that. So it was like, then dealing with COVID on top of all of that, it was like, okay, we're done. We need to find something that is easier to handle and much more maneuverable, much more flexible. And so we had discovered ServiceWorks at ASTI that year, and we had the brochure, and just like you guys here, brochure, let's call them. And so I called them and talked with a lovely young lady, and within about 2 hours, she had taken me through the whole demonstration of the program, and I was like, I can do this. I can absolutely do this. They imported all of our customer base. It didn't import the models and serial numbers and all that kind of fun stuff, but I was like, you know what, we have to have something. And so we went with ServiceWorks, and we have not looked back, in all honesty. And I'll get to your questions in a minute.
I was just going to say, you forgot the fact that you almost walked out the door because you didn't get your reports.
Yes. One of the biggest reasons that we left House Call Pro, there was 2 reasons, actually. One was we had no way of tracking inventory. And in this business, if you don't track your inventory, you can go bankrupt, like in nothing flat. So we had no way of tracking our inventory, parts in, parts out, parts used, and then we did warranty on top of that, so we had to have invoice numbers with part numbers, and it was chaos. It was absolute chaos. And the other thing was, in order to pull reports from House Call Pro, you had to dance a jig, stand on your left foot with your right foot raised, and I mean, it was a mess. And I mean, in this business, you have to pull reports. You have to know how much you're paying your technicians for commissions, how much you're spending on parts, how much you're doing this. How many new zip codes have you been in this week? How many new customers have you gotten this week? There's just all kinds of information, your KPIs are critical. And if you're not keeping track of those KPIs, you're just playing around, having fun, I guess. So that's kind of our story. And that's how we came to ServiceWorks.
Perfect. So that answered a few of the questions that I had. One of them was like to just kind of understand and know what platforms you've had. Have you used anything other than House Call? You started with House Call
Pro.
tried Rossware, and then stopped at ServiceWorks.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
pretty much it. What I guess, and this is I guess a shameful, no shame here. What is ServiceWorks like? What's your favorite thing about ServiceWorks that it does better than anybody else? I know you alluded to inventory,
yeah.
but anything, yeah.
So inventory management is one thing, just being able to track the parts. So I mentioned warranty parts. There is a place on the main screen where you can you put the parts onto the customer's information, and there's a drop down if it's a warranty part. If that part has been obtained through the purchase order and through that processing, which is very easy to do, and you mentioned going into the purchase order screen earlier, we actually order those parts directly from the customer's ticket. And we just, there's a button you can push, I want this part, I want this part, I want this part, and we create a PO right from there. That's that PO for that customer. And it makes it real easy to track. And then, when part is received, it takes the part distributor and their invoice number and puts it right on that main screen. So when you're doing your warranty processing, all of that information just transfers right over.
Not to mention, when, speaking as a tech, when I go in there and Mrs. Jones needs a new pump, I put in that part number. Well, first I can look up the part on my app. And it goes right into a parts lookup. If Manmark Home, which is what we use, has it in their system. But it'll also, once you click on that part and click add it to my ticket, it adds it to the ticket, and it will actually automatically adjust for our parts, what we charge.
It auto-populates.
Pops it in there for
It auto-populates not only the part number, the part description, the part picture, if there's a picture on my Marcone, that'll transfer over, the cost will transfer over, and then there's a feature in ServiceWorks where you can actually add whatever markup you want to do. It will add that markup automatically. So if you have a brand new tech, and this is what we're gearing up for, is bringing on a new tech, we don't want that tech to be like playing with numbers all over the place. And we would say, when you put a LG compressor, a 706 compressor on a ticket, this is the price that you have to charge. And it automatically figures that out for you, which is awesome. The biggest thing I'm into right now is automation and being able to automate as much as possible, not for eliminating the human interaction, because I think that's extremely critical to customer service, but in order to eliminate human error. And I'm loving the idea that you're coming out with the barcodes. Yay! That was on my hit list, by the way. But to be able to transfer that number into, just by scanning it and transfer it into ServiceWorks and be able to pull it up that way, it's fabulous. The other thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to do a little bit more. In ServiceWorks, they have this wonderful little button called Reports, and I love it. I love my reports. But it goes through a whole list of pre-formatted customer reports, financial reports, inventory reports. Help me out here, guys. I mean,
Job
there's
reports, purchase order reports,
everything.
point of sale reports, system reports.
Your tech productivity, your everything
Yes.
that you should want to know.
And if you don't find something on there, all you have to do is hit the little button and request it. And say, can you do this? Can you do this? I did that with, there's a combined invoice register that gives you all kinds of information from your, the money you took in, for each ticket, the money you took in, the amount charged for labor, charged for parts, the cost of labor, the cost of parts, the commission, everything. And I was like, there was one piece that was missing, and I can't even remember what it was now. I said, can you add this column to this report? Because then it would make it absolutely perfect.
Did you write the job type?
What was it?
Did you add the job type?
No, I think it was, I actually think it was amount paid.
Amount paid, okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because we had the amount that was charged and broken down by service and labor, but I was like, okay, but not every customer pays. Some are billed, some are property management companies or warranty companies and all of that. So I had, can you add amount paid? And they're like, oh yeah. A week later I had my report and I was like, oh. Anyway, I get excited about those things.
Will it track individual tech productivity, individual tech callbacks, percentages?
Yes.
you get a breakdown of individual techs?
Yes, it does. So the productivity comes in time on the job, on the specific ticket. So on the mobile app, they have an en route button. The tech presses the en route button and it automatically clocks in, or when the technician arrives, it gives you the clock in time and then the clock out time. So you know exactly how much time the technician was spending on that job, provided they actually do it. And that, you know.
Well, I mean, as a report though, at the end of the month, can I look back and, because right now I can check average labor dollar the labor dollar average for the tech for the month,
Yes.
their daily labor average, I can check. The callback report with the system we use is a little wonky. We have to go back like 30 days prior, and then it's that sort of thing, but I can check callback percentages. So that type of tracking.
I know it does track the number of trips to a particular house. So for each trip that you go out, there's a new schedule, and it will create basically a new sheet of paper on top of that ticket, and it just keeps building and building and building. So you can tell when you run those reports, if there's a -1 after the ticket number, then you know that it's the first time complete, or that the technician's only been out there one time. If there's a -5, I'm calling the technician saying, what the heck is going on with this thing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. It's a minor thing you mentioned, but I think a lot of systems don't give you the ability to add a schedule to your job. You have to create a whole new ticket, and then they can be a little bit disconnected. Whereas, a simple
Yeah.
thing where we just have, you can add multiple, hopefully not 5 schedules, but as many schedules as you want.
There is actually, I've seen I don't know if you've seen the tech productivity dashboard report.
yes.
That's the one, it actually gives you a graphical representation of what is the first time problem completion, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time.
That's per customer?
No,
That's
per tech.
Well, I mean, a tech per that customer, how many trips for that customer only, or can I just see an overview of the tech? How this one tech, so I've got 8 in one market,
Right.
how this one tech performed labor-wise.
It does.
Yeah.
And I think it's on the dashboard as well, if I remember right.
There's a lot of data, if you tell us, we have a lot of reports, it's just hard to remember everything that
Sure,
we have.
sure,
But
understand.
if there's something you need, you just ask us, if the data is there, if you wanted to represent it this way, it will just be done within a week at the most.
I like to think of ServiceWorks as my database management company. I mean, seriously, because they have created this database that is massively powerful. And I don't know database programming, but I know that I need this information, and I need it in this format, and they'll put it together for me. So,
Thank you.
And that becomes automated where you use it, but it's there it is. So, I would, and I'm not a data person, I'm the tech who plays with who annoys the office, Mary tells me don't go in there, don't click that. No.
How do you get the labor dollars in there? Right, the parts are usually fixed cost, mark on mark, so
Right.
how do you get labor dollars assigned?
I sat down with my accountant and determined what labor factor, and we used a dollar per hour. This is how much my labor per hour is, and then it calculates that based on the time factor, the time in and time out on the job.
Is there a way to set up flat rate pricing yet? And they select drain pump and then it says it's this dollar
Yeah,
per labor?
you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's different ways of setting up your service charges. So it could be time driven, per hour basis, or it could be flat price, flat rate.
Or you
However
can
you
drop
choose.
down to either one.
Because we're more that way, we don't charge. I've got one guy that can do a job in 10 minutes, and I've got another, it takes him 30, so I don't want to charge by the hour, but I charge by the job. So it's this flat rate for this job.
Yeah, you
So-
can set it up however you want it, generally the flat rate pricing could be something like entry level, mid level, luxury level, all of these defined set you can have, and you can just pull it at the time, because it's all there, so you have to just pick. It's not you have to create at the time of the job, so it's all there, like your diagnostic fee, $75, or diagnostic, extreme diagnostic fee, $95. So you just type extreme diagnostic, 95 and pull it. But you do also have the opportunity to mark it up at the time of the job creation, just in case you set the pricing, 2 years ago, and today is not the great time.
But the tech would also have availability, or the opportunity if he's in a nasty house, so there's gonna be election work, you've got a
You
hoarder.
can just plug it in. If
So-
you give the tech the permission,
So-
that is what.
Right, it'll automatically feed in whatever our flat rate is once he says the job he's doing, but then if he has management approval and
Yes.
he's gonna add $20 or
Yes,
whatever,
he
he
can.
can do
Or
that.
if you're gonna add a second call or something like that, it's just click go. It's not.
Yeah. We follow Blue Book loosely. So we have it set out in ServiceWorks that we charge the diagnostic fee, or the service call fee. And then we add labor, and then we add our parts. Okay, so it does break it down on the invoice that way. But when we put in labor, we have 10 different labor rates.
Yeah, what we did was we took some of the numbers from the paper blue book, like N17, all that type of stuff. We popped those in there in the drop down. They can also be set up instead of like N17, the GE dishwasher pump installation. And then you can do a secondary drop down for add 20 for, nasty for whatever.
Environmental issues.
The thing I loved about that really caught me with the software was I don't like being locked in. I don't like them saying you will do it this way. The thing I found with this software was you could go in and I messed up quite a bit because we were young at it. But you can set it up if you got your SOP set, okay, this is how we're charging, and if it's dirty floor and charge us extra, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You can actually go in there and set it. If you can't, you give them a phone call. Or if you got a question on it, there's no, trust me, there's no questions you don't. Even I can bump around in there enough to really tick her off or do it get them right. Well, like I said, why is there on this invoice, because they have a button where you can click it, and you generated the invoice. It's got custom, it's got Dr. Dan's on it, it's got all that stuff, and I gotta email it. Okay, why is the part number on here? The one part number on there, because then they're gonna go on to Amazon or whatever. Marion took about 30 seconds. It's gone. The invoice, I didn't like the look of it. She gave me 4 to choose from.
I gave you 12 to choose from, because they gave us 12 to choose from.
I didn't show me all of them. But that's the big thing is you can customize it to your company.
Yeah. And it
It's
doesn't
like
take a
you've
master
got your own
programmer to
custom
do
software
it.
there with your own IT.
Okay, thank you.
And we also can do, like, your invoice is one for your COD job, if you want a different kind of invoice. For your warranty, if you want a different type of invoice look and feel, you can do that.
Okay. Or say you're in Arizona and you charge $80 more to go to Paradise Valley than you do in Phoenix. You can create that. Where you can say, okay, I'm going into Paradise Valley, this is the price tier that I charge at.
So when that zip code comes up, it auto-fills what you've.
I haven't seen on the zip code, but I have seen where guys have set it like I said, Phoenix charge, Phoenix service call,
Yeah.
Paradise Valley service call.
You can put specialty,
Well, we've got, obviously I'm being dumb, but we've got a gazillion zip codes in Cincinnati where half of them will run at one service call rate,
Yep.
and a quarter of them are $10 more, then the other quarter remaining is another $10 because of just the way Cincinnati lays out. But
To get there and all that.
yeah, it's kind of weird, but so we can't just say Cincinnati. It's for
Right.
us. It's everything's zip code based.
I'm not sure.
But that'd be something to
That'd be
get
something
people
to
on.
look at.
Definitely.
So based off of your question, if you have all of those zip codes, I would suspect that you probably have a number of different sales taxes associated with those zip codes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the really cool things about this is, and this is zip code based, if we type in okay, so when we're putting in the customer, first of all, we start typing the address, 8993 H for highway, and it automatically populates based on Google Maps. It comes up with the rest of the address. You go ahead and click on that address, and it auto-populates the city, state, and zip code.
Nice.
The other thing is, because I've gone through and I put in all my zip codes and okay, I'm on the border between Tennessee and Alabama. I deal with 4 different counties and multiple municipalities within those counties that have, between everything all figured up, I have, in 4 counties, I have 20 tax rates. I'm not lying to you. So I've gone in and I have chosen, so this zip code, and this zip code get this tax rate. This zip code, and just go by zip codes, get this tax rate, and I can group them all together. And then when the CSR is putting in that address, at the very end, it asks you to save, and it asks them the question, are you sure you want to change the tax rate? And it's always yes, because that auto-populates the the tax rate for that zip code.
Is it really clear, change the subject just a little bit from the field, is it really clear for the technicians if they've, whether it's the same tech that goes out, which always makes this easier because they usually remember, but if I have, for whatever reason, a different tech go out to complete a job, COD, is it clear for the tech a balance that's owed?
Yes.
I mean, it's,
Very clear.
it may seem simple, but the system will use it, for some reason it's not.
No, it's very clear. It's clear in the field, in the office, on the invoice, everything is clear.
Thank you.
So,
Because like you said, he asked, like, can we take a down payment when they're calling in for the first visit? So like overall, it might be at this time $100 for your first charge. And he said it's a $100 ticket. They pay $100. It's all on, so it's 0 D, right? But when you go to the first time visit and you actually figured out this is going to be a repair cost, for example, $500. So the invoice automatically will start reflecting it is a $600 ticket and your due is $500. It automatically adjusts. So now if they pay only partial, like $300, then it will say, okay, you have paid $400, but $200 is due. So that will automatically reflect in the invoice and the phone and everywhere.
Is this part of service patch?
It
No,
is
sir.
service
works.
It's a completely different program.
Yes.
We integrate with service
We
patch.
integrate with service.
I understand.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the answers.
Yeah, another thing is when the guy's on his way, clicks the little thing up on the top, tells the girls, or whoever's running the thing, what his status is, but it'll also send the customer a text saying, hey, it's Dan, I'll be there in 20 minutes, or whatever the map is saying. I click another button, it automatically shows me where the next call is, gives me the map, gives me step-by-step directions as I'm driving, all that kind of stuff. But also, girls can look, Mrs. Jones calls up and says, where's Frank? We've never heard that before. They can look it up and say, okay, well, it looks like he might be running about a little bit late because he's at call just before you right now, because it's showing the status.
So it has an integrated map that will show you the route for that day for each tech.
And he's gonna end up having to cross the mountain, so it's probably gonna be about another hour and a half before he gets there,
Does it have tracking?
Yes.
So it'll track the truck?
Yep. It'll track basically the mobile app,
Device.
So they'll have a real-time map of, and that's, whether it's the status, like, update, or, they're going through the workflow, saying I arrived, I completed this, but once, you know, if they're in or out somewhere, as long as they have service, right, if they're going over that mountain, might lose them
Yeah.
a little bit, but yeah.
And your
Yes.
customers also get delivered an email kind of thing, and where they have a link to check on tech status, like Uber drivers, like you can see where they are, they can actually click the link to see where they are, but as long as you put that link into your
Right.
custom.
If you want them to
As
see.
long as you
Yeah,
clear.
yeah,
As
yeah.
long as we put
If you
Frank
wanna go
told me he
that
was
far,
afraid
yeah.
we did that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, this is great. No, I'm gonna go the other direction. Is there anything that you'd like for us to improve, or any specific features that would make ServiceWorks even better for Dr. Vance?
We need to fix the automatic cash printing thing.
Yeah.
They want that first, right?
If we get that, I mean, yeah.
You know, this is actually a relationship, and it started 4 years ago, and I have been so impressed with ServiceWorks and where they started out 4 years ago, and how much they have added, how much they have kept up with the industry, the appliance industry. And then, guys, let me say, they're not paying me to do this. I'm sharing this because I think this is a great program, and I really believe in it. But anything that I could think that I would want in the program, I've either already said it, they're already working on it, or I haven't thought of it yet. So I do want my green flag though. That would be great.
That is one thing.
Um,
If there's something that you need,
Yeah.
they'll either, I mean, they have yet to laugh at me, and I come up with some awful stuff.
I laughed at a few things before it got to
She
you,
stopped
but
me from calling me.
About the green flag, I think that they've talked about like the lead status, have you considered that?
I don't know if I talked to her about that.
Okay, so we can discuss
So
about that.
what we're talking about is, for those homes, where I was in a couple of sessions this morning talking about environmental issues, and we don't want to send our technicians back to those places. They have right on the customer name, first box, on the customer, there's a little flag, and you click that flag, and you red flag that customer, and you have a comment section in there. Check bounce last 3 times, or environmental issues, do not send a service technician out here, call 911 if they call us back.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, I mean, it's an internal note for between you and the office and the technicians, and the CSRs pull that up. They know if they see that red flag come up, yeah, we're going to steer that customer to one of our competitors. You know, so it's great.
That message part that you saw, but also, that being said, that's something we have to talk about